I would like to welcome our first keynote speaker of the Parliamentary Debate World Conference and Competition 2019, Mrs. Michelle Gray, a teacher at Robina State High School, Australia. Please welcome her to the stage.
Hi everyone, my name is Michelle Gray from Robina State High School, Australia, and I would actually like to officially welcome all of you to PDWC 2019. It's a pleasure to have you all here, and I'm really excited to join my crew with all of you in 2019. It's my 4th year at this event, so I guess you could call me a little bit of a veteran, even though I don't like to associate age, veteran, that kind of thing. So, オーストラリアのロビナ高校の教師ミシェル・グレイと申します。どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。So I'm going to be throwing a little bit of Japanese in there today, simply because, yes, I do teach Japanese, even though I don't like to admit that my Japanese isn't fabulous. So I do take my hat off to all of you that speak English as a second language and also debating today for the first time in English. So good luck to everyone. The idea of the keynote speeches is to listen carefully and to take notes, because what will follow is the friendly debate, your very first debate, and it will follow along the lines of the content that I'm speaking about. So you should be taking notes and really taking note of the main points, because you can use that as material in the following friendly debate. And of course, every keynote speaker, you can use their material in the following debate. So this week, we're on a journey together. And that journey is fairly massive, and I don't think you all realise the journey that you're going to be a part of just yet. As I said, I'm a foundation PDWC teacher. I think you could probably say I'm a foundation teacher. And as I said before, I've been at this event for 4 years in a row. First of all though, it's really important that you understand that you're all vehicles for change. That means that you're able to create change, and of course the theme of this conference is creating the future. Before we do that though, I need to know that you're all on the journey with me, and that means we need to have a bit of a relax, a bit of fun, and that means that we're all ready to sort of chill out for our next debate. So first of all, I'm going to ask a volunteer, Laura, to come up the front. Laura knows I can do some crazy stuff sometimes. So I'm going to ask Laura to come and sit in the chair over here. So, thanks Laura. So I want you to all understand that PDWC is the start of your incredible journey, and you can use it to really go places. So to begin our journey together, we're going to go places in our cars. So I need you to be with me, and Laura and I are going to do this together. And you're going to start your engines. Oh, before we do that, and the reason why I've asked Laura is because she has a driver's license. It scares me sometimes because she puts her keys on the desk and I think, do you really drive by yourself? It sort of really does surprise me a little bit, but she drives. A bit scary maybe. Okay, so can you all do this with us, and we're going to demonstrate. So we need to adjust our mirrors. Come on, we're going on a journey together. Okay, adjust your mirror and just make sure your side mirrors, Laura's got it down because she just did a driving test, so follow her checks. Come on everyone. Okay, so what we're going to do is put our hands on the steering wheel, but not like serious, I've just got my license grip. I want you to think about, if you're cruising down the highway, coming on a journey with us. Oh, I like the front rows moves. Okay, so what's your style? So, driving style wa oshite kudasai. Okay, いいですか? So, 運転しましょう. Okay, Chris, can you fire up some music for us, please? Some cruising music. Yeah. Okay, are we ready? Okay, here we go. Okay, we've got the breeze in our hand. Come on, everyone. How do you groove in your car? It's it goes electric waving when I turn it on. All through the city, all through my home. Yeah. Come on, everyone. Let's drive. Come on. Everyone's hands on the wheel. In my pocket. Okay, I can see some nice styles in the front. Debate mate have got some great style. New Zealand at the front, thank you very much. I like it. Okay, so we're all on a journey together. We've got the wind blowing through our hair, and we're using the PDWC as a vehicle for change. Thanks very much, Chris. Thanks, Laura. Okay, we're right now. Okay, I think some of you are very nervous because you were driving very seriously there. So let's continue our journey. So I'm specifically going to talk about today the PDWC impact. And I'd like to share with you my school's journey over the last 4 years, and in particular, how we use the PDWC as a springboard catalyst event. I'd like to remind you all that you've been chosen for this event. You've been handpicked because you demonstrate some skills, my English is all over the place, some potential. You represent your country and also your school. You're 3 people out of your school. It could be hundreds, it could be thousands. So that's a really important thing to remember. Your teachers know that you have great communication ability. You're internationally and globally minded as well. However, I want you to remember it's not just a free trip to Japan. It's not just a debate competition. Over this coming week, you'll have some life-changing experiences, light bulb moments, and form friendships that will last you a lifetime. All of this in just 1 week. As I said earlier, I don't think you realise the journey that you're about to start. So PDWC はデベート大会だけではなくて、1週間で生涯の友達を作って人生を変える経験を経験するでしょう。The keynote speakers, WakuPro Foundation and DebateMate will give you the power of knowledge and communication. Your global understanding and perspective will tremendously grow. You've been gifted something that no one else in your school has, an opportunity of a lifetime. I always find it so difficult to explain the experiences that my students and I have on this event, this 1 week. And I'd like you to think about demonstrating this with our actions, not necessarily our words. It's such a difficult thing to explain. So let's have a look at where to from here. We're looking at the future now. I don't know whether this is going to work. Yep, too much longer underneath. Okay, there we go. Okay, technical things, let's move with that. So we're going to look forward a moment so that we can look backwards. So what do I mean by that? Sorry girls, I know they're sitting in the audience thinking she could have chosen a better photo. So their journey, and yours, they're in the audience too, starts now. As I said, they had not really much of an idea that I was going to talk about them today in this way. I know that they all have very different personalities. In other words, their driving style into the future. I know that they're globally minded. I know that they show potential leadership skills. They've been involved in our school in numerous things. They weren't particularly chosen for their debating skills. I really need to help these students unlock their potential. They know they have it, but I don't think they quite realise they do yet, or how to develop that in the coming future. They don't really know how to fully unlock that and use PDWC to create change in our school and our community. I'd like to express that the teacher's role is key here. I need to discover more about their passions, what really drives these students. So, 何に情熱を注いでいますか? Please don't say to your teachers, however, students, that my passion is, so when we think about passion, this is a question that will come up. Please don't say, my passion is long walks on the beach, drinking coffee at a cafe and playing Fortnite. So I think you need to really extend yourselves a little bit further than that. We talk about stretching that bubble. So I think you need to consider something that really truly tugs at your heartstrings. I also need to help them discover their leadership style that suits their personality, so leadership no style. I also need to understand what they want to change in our community and our schools. So 学校や地域社会で何を変えたいのですか? How can you seek opportunity to help you learn and action all of this? So どのように学ぶ機会を探しますか? My mission is to find this out at PDWC. How can teachers possibly unlock this in just 1 week? The answer is on the next slide. Chris, next slide please. So the answer is onsen chat. So I can hear some whispers around this. Yes, an onsen is a hot spring, and there is a really fantastic one here at this school. Here at the Hotel Heritage. I can hear the Japanese students whispering. They're thinking this Australian teacher is a little bit crazy. So チームオーストラリアの先生はおかしい、温泉で話す、裸で、恥ずかしい。Maybe that's what the Japanese students are saying. So a translation of that is, Team Australia teacher, she's a little bit crazy. Talking in the onsen, naked? What? She's crazy. So, of course, we all know that why we've been asked to bring our swimsuits is that this Hotel Heritage has a very unique onsen where you can wear a swimsuit. Phew, we all say. 大丈夫ですよ。So, 水着を着用する共用温泉があるんですね。大丈夫です。So, I find that taking students aside, when they're reflecting on the learning for the day, they're relaxed, they're thoughtful, it's a really effective technique. But don't forget, onsen chat is just my way of tapping into my students. If you're not comfortable with that, teachers may take students aside in a quiet moment, as a small group, somewhere around the hotel resort, and have that sort of chat with your students. So, talk about who you've met, students. Some interesting cultural things you've learned from all around the world. Things that surprised you, debate topic perspectives that you've never considered, inspirational things that you've learned, and knowledge that you've gained. Teachers will learn more about you. They need to know how to help you when we all return home. You'll be so inspired by the PDWC life-changing event that you will all really want to do something. So, my team expect these chats in the coming week and also into the future. I want to know what your passions are, not exercising on the beach however, your desires, what kind of change do you want in our school and community, and how you're going to tap into your leadership skills. What opportunities will you seek and say yes to? So now we need to think about going backwards. So we've just been forwards and what we do this week in order to keep moving forward. Now we need to go back a little bit. We need to go backwards to where Robina High and many other students just like you started. So let's go back to 2016, 2017 and 2018. 9 Robina students have attended this event. Their post-PDWC journey is quite remarkable. So firstly, all 9 were just like you, sitting here at this event wondering what was to unfold this week. Meeting people from all around the world is a really valuable experience. All 9 only had this much debate experience. So if you're sitting there a little bit nervous, don't worry, my students do too. So they have other important skills that help them through this week. They demonstrated globally minded behaviour, demonstrated participation in school events and were really effective communicators. They have all very different personalities. Each offered something completely different to the team. Every year, 3 participants returned the following year as volunteers. So every year, the following year, they became the youth ambassadors, and you can see 3 of my students, Sam, Laura and Lily, are here this year, and also Chris, who is way back in 2016. On his business card, Chris actually has a WakuPro business card. He helps them do various projects related to PDWC. His card actually says Possibility Explorer. That's his job for WakuPro Foundation. So Possibility Explorer means he's travelled all over the world filming PDWC students' journeys, and particularly last year. Each year, Onsen Chat helps students to reflect on what they'd learned over this week, what they wanted to change in the school and community. They were hugely inspired, but they needed some guidance on how to action projects based on their passions, the need for change, and working out how they could do this as some kind of leader at Robina High. They needed to seek opportunity to do this. PDWC is a springboard event. It can help you create amazing change in your school. So, wakamono tachi wa henka o tane o makimasu. I know that you now want to see exactly what 9 students, just 9 students, are able to achieve. So I want you to have a brief look at this. We call this an impact map. So I think some of you have got some handouts there. So this is for your future reference. You can see it there. It's not in colour on your sheets, but I've got it projected in colour so you can see how they're related. So The PDWC students, the 9, have created a powerful web. It's actually a movement in our school. I'm going to give you some ideas about how we created this, so it may help you be inspired to do something when you return home. I just want to also point out that none of this existed before 2016. None of this existed before we attended the Parliamentary Debate World Congress Japan. So you can see that the circle at the top there, so if you can see this part here, and you've got that on your sheets, that's our springboard event, WakuPro Foundation Japan, also Debate Mate as well. So I can hear some whispers already, and you know, as you're shuffling through your paperwork there, it's overwhelming. It's really not achievable. How on earth did they do that? We just can't. So I want you to just think about that for a moment. So, 圧倒的だし、達成的ない. Maybe some of you are thinking that. So I probably need to break this down a little bit so you can understand how 3, then 6, then 9 students and 1 teacher can start the ripple and create really big waves. So 3人、6人、9人学生と1人の先生、ハモの初めて大きな波を生み出せます。So the Robina High, of course, is soon to become 12 instead of 9. So our starting point was leadership. So if you have a look at the light purple on the projection here, so our starting point was leadership. So the 2016 crew gained skills at PDWC that helped them unlock their leadership potential. They became really strong leaders in our school in different capacities in their senior years. Chris and Jess were elected school captains, so Seito Kaicho. And Luke took a different path as a debate club mentor and Model United Nations team facilitator. All 3 paved the way for a new style of leadership in our school. They used the medium of debate to improve their communication skills. Again, in 2016, Onsen Chat really helped them to discover their passions, their leadership styles, and you know, it was something that was a really important thing for teachers to do with their students, you know, during the week. The biggest tip for these 3 Foundation 2016 students, however, was to pick a teacher mentor. So I just want to point out that this can't just be one teacher. So you have to tap into other experts in your school. It can't always be me, so sometimes I need to help students connect with other people that are passionate about what they're passionate about. It may not be my passion. It may be too overwhelming for me. So I need to help students connect as a staff member who is passionate in our school, in our community, and help students network. They don't, you know, we need to learn how to do that. So networking is very, very important. So more teachers came on board, more community members also. So if you have a look here, the community relationships out of all of these projects that were being actioned began to grow. So it's, you know, goes bigger than your school. The 2017 crew, all elected school captains, Seito Kaicho. Jay was elected Gold Coast Junior Mayor, Shonen Shicho. Something he didn't really consider at all before attending PDWC. More teachers and mentors came on board as students discussed ideas, projects, and community members were hugely important in actioning many of the projects. Finally, our 2018 crew who are here now, Laura and Lily are elected school captains for this year, so Seito Kaicho, and Sam is Sustainables Club member and facilitator, and I'll talk more about Sustainables in a moment. So our 9 students and 1 teacher PDWC family has grown exponentially into a massive and connected movement, as you can see on the impact map. Our whole school really understands how PDWC has connected us, and we've used it as a springboard event, and it really has changed our school and community. They're really talking about us this week, by the way. It's our first week back at school in Australia after our summer holidays. Our school's changing its direction. And we're now talking about future-proofing students, and there's some things that my principal's using from this event to actually showcase that to all of our staff. So even though the impact map on the slide seems really overwhelming and not achievable, just start something and the ripple becomes a wave. Small projects are certainly achievable for everyone here. As a direct result of PDWC, we now have a debate club. This has grown from 8 students and 1 teacher in 2016 to 20 students and 3 teachers this year. We compete in the local debate competition. We did 2 international debates with Japanese PDWC students in 2018, thanks to LaSalle High out there and Martin Sensei, and also Debate Mate Summer Camp as well in Tokyo. So that was a really fantastic experience for both Japanese and Australian students. We participated in Model United Nations conferences, ASEAN youth conferences, and there's some of the photos that you can see students participate. I can see Martin on the screen. Can everyone see Martin in the Skype screen? Thanks, Chris. So that's us debating against a Japanese school from PDWC. So that's a small something that you can actually achieve. So I just want to point out again that none of this existed before PDWC 2016. So my message about this section is start small but dare to dream big for the future. However, sometimes you just have to go big because it's important. World peace is important to me and it should be important to all of us. We can't achieve it unless we have perspective, mitoshi, which then inspires compassion, omoiyari, and understanding, rikai. Robina High students met atomic bomb survivor, Hibakusha, Keiko Ogura, on a school study tour of Japan, and you can see the photo of students who study Japanese on your left-hand side. We listened to her incredible story of survival and decided that we needed to share her survivor perspective with a more global audience, not just Australian students who study Japanese. We connected Ogura-san with WakuPro staff who asked her to keynote speak at the PDWC 2017. It was such an amazing experience for all participants and teachers as well. I took that one step further by creating Global Peace Studies 2017. You can see that on the impact map as well. It was a project that exposed 170 domestic and international Robina High students and community members to the Hiroshima survivor story. It's a unique story that needs to be told so that it never happens again. It's an attempt to educate students about peace and the victim's perspective. It expanded our community relationships. So if you can see the circle down the bottom that I flipped up before that shows community relationships, we made the local news on TV. We had a film crew come out. NHK Radio from Japan actually audio recorded us, and it featured on August 8 in that year for Hiroshima Peace celebrations. So let's take a look at what that looks like as a huge project.
Social message of peace, or sharing personal.
A history lesson, unlike any other. For these students, Keiko Uhura's childhood ordeal is unimaginable. Via a video call, they learn how she survived the world's first nuclear attack. Keiko was 8 years old.
How wonderful to see so many students. We have
Peace Forum. They're making paper cranes, an internationally recognised peace symbol created by a little Hiroshima survivor who died from illness blamed on the fallout.
When we learn about it at school, it's just about the bomb that ended the war, but we don't actually see the perspective of the people who are actually involved and affected with the atomic bomb. So that was really interesting and a really good experience. That gives a lifetime opportunity. Well, I think it's so hard to just sit back after you see something like that and you always have to take action.
Difficult lesson to learn, but one we should never forget.
So find your passion. What is important to you? How will you action this and create change locally, globally? Challenge people's perspectives. So on the impact map, you can see that there was a green section over on the right-hand side. And this particular part of the web was sparked by playing the Sustainable Development Goals game. And that's thanks to WakuPro Foundation and Imakokorabo. The game launched at Robina High for the first time in English for a large group of students. Many students, teachers and community members played, including our youth ambassador Sam. Sam's passion is for the environment and sustainability, and it came up in the onsen chat last year when we were talking about what's your passion, what do you want to action when we get back to school, and for Sam that was something related to sustainability. He didn't quite know what to do yet, but that was my job to help him really, tap into someone that was passionate, a teacher mentor. So I encouraged him to approach a science teacher who was also really passionate about this topic, and from there, the Sustainables were born. The Sustainables name is a really important choice. It represents the true integrity of the group and what they stand for. They're a highly motivated group of Robina High School students and teachers. Sustainables, if you look at the spelling here, there's a reason why there's two words there. So sustainables means people who believe that sustainability requires the efforts of everyone, that working towards achieving the SDGs needs conscious and unrelenting action. However, you'll notice that the spelling of the club name is deliberate, and yes, they have a logo and we have t-shirts as well. So Sustainables, the name, as you can see over here, has a deliberate spelling. The bulls, why it has bulls on the end, is bulls are stubborn and proud animals. They protect their herd and are determined to do this. The Robina High Sustainables aim to be a force in educating about and actioning the SDGs at our school and in our community. The Sustainables actioned many SDGs in our school and our community, and you can see from the photos up there, there's a very important man up here, and that was during the Commonwealth Games last year, and that's the Prince of Wales from England, if you don't know who he is. And that was part of a sustainability project, and he visited our amazing beach and a project, and it was a bin designing competition, so pretty amazing experience. Tree planting, clean up the beaches day, and fundraising for the RSPCA, which is an animal shelter.
The United Nations. We will live in a world where nobody anywhere lives next to a property. We will live in a world where no one goes hungry, no one wakes up in the morning asking if there will be food today.
We will live in a world where no child has to die from diseases we know how to cure. The proper healthcare is a lifelong right for us all.
We will live in a world where everyone goes to school and education gives us the knowledge and skills for the
progressive, and support all those that live in it.
People live in a world where we replace what we consume, a planet where we put back what we take out of the earth. We live in a world that is nicely rolling back from climate change. We will live in a world where we restore and protect the life in our oceans and seas. We will live in a world where we restore and protect life on land, the forest, the animals, the earth itself. We will live in a world with peace between and inside countries, where all governments are open and answer to us for what they do at home, and law, and justice rules, with everyone equal before the law.
And we must live in a world where all countries, and we, their people, work together in partnerships of all kinds.
To make these global goals a reality, for everyone everywhere. Your voice matters.
Your voice matters.
Your voice matters.
And you know.
Say it loud. And let it echo around the globe. The future is in your hands. The future is in your hands. The future is in your hands.
Don't drop it.
So again, education, small actions means really big impact. So that's an easy one to start with. And I'd like a shout out to Team Marshall Islands from 2018 for giving us the idea for the sign. Thank you, Kieran. And you know, we did that sign after we saw the Marshall Islands create a sign, and they put that up in front of their school. So, you know, we can help each other as well. So take ideas from, you know, what we're all actioning in the future. So yeah, it's definitely worth staying in touch and helping each other. Start small and go big when you dare. So you don't have to go as big as we have for some of those projects. Just start somewhere. That's all that you need to do. So let's start our engines and get going on our journey this week. So 一緒に旅に出ましょう。You're all vehicles for change. So 若者たちは変化の種をまきます。Let's make Kazuko Nakarai's vision a reality. And certainly we're going to create the future together. Thank you very much for your time.